Hello everyone, in this short video I'm going to talk about the second part in Module C, which is the written production. I have made a video about the first part, which is the reading comprehension. Now I'm focusing on the written production. As you all know by now that the written production is worth 30% or 30 points from your Module C. Of course, you will have to write 70 to 90 words at least, but you cannot write less than 70 words, otherwise you will lose points, okay, for the length. And you can write more than 90 words, but don't exaggerate. All right, what two different types of written presentations or productions do we have in Module C? There are two types, two kinds of compositions that we can find in Module C. The first one is description of things, events, stories in the form of letter. And the second one, which is opinion. Now, this year in the Mikud of 21, Moed A and Moed B, we will have an opinion in Module C. Okay, so you won't have any description in Module C, you'll have an opinion essay in Module C. Now, let's take an example of an opinion essay that we might find in the Bagrut this year. Look at this. First of all, we have to read the composition as a question and to understand it. Do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to have a job after school hours? We have to make sure that we understand the idea that we are supposed to be writing about and that we are supposed to be relating to. If we misunderstand and if we write the best, most beautiful piece of writing, but we write about a different thing, so we'll get 0 out of 30. It is called an off-topic composition. But I assume that you will all know how to deal with this. All right. First of all, let's look at some useful expressions, okay, or phrases that we could use in opinion writing. In my opinion, let's take an example. In my opinion, a good education is more important than a good car. Okay? I believe that you should use these expressions in your essay, in your opinion essay. I believe that, or at least some of them. I believe that adults should encourage teenagers to solve problems by discussions, not violently. I believe that adults should encourage teenagers to solve problems by discussions, not violently. It seems to me that children learn best when they feel comfortable. I have no doubt that when you do good, it eventually comes back to you. It is my belief that our society nowadays needs to restore its values of tolerance and respect. This is a good sentence we all have to pay attention to. My belief is that our society nowadays needs to restore its values of tolerance and respect. Let's look at more phrases and more expressions. I think that we must not judge others quickly and try to find excuses for them. Personally, I like people who show complete respect to their parents. I like people who show complete respect to their parents. This is a value we should all cherish and try to live by. I feel that we need to show more empathy and become better listeners. Okay? I feel that we should show more empathy and become better listeners so that we can understand each other. And when we understand each other, 99% of the problems disappear. As far as I am concerned, the most important thing for a healthy society is values, not money. Okay, so let's look at the rubrics. These were examples of phrases that you could use in your opinion writing. Rubrics. How are you marked when the Bagrut marker marks your composition? What does he or she look for? First of all, they look for content and organization. As we said, you have to write to the point. This means that you have to understand what you are writing about. If you don't If you miss the point, if you miss the subject, you lose the whole thing, okay? So content and organization. Is it organized? Are there paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, okay? Is it neat? So you get 10 points. Vocabulary, the vocabulary choice. Did you use the appropriate, correct vocabulary? Or did you misuse the vocabulary? Language, grammar. Did you pay attention to question marks? Did you pay attention to when you ask a question, for example, or when you negate in the present simple, put the verb in its base form, okay? So language is important. And mechanics, which is spelling, punctuation, and capitalization, it's 4 points, so total of 30 points. All right, opinion writing. An opinion essay begins with an introduction, as we said, and you should state your opinion in it. Keep the introduction simple and to the point, okay? So again, let's go back to our previous subject. Do you think it is a good idea for teenagers to have a job after school hours? Suppose that this is the composition you have to relate to and to write about in the background. So you need to start an introduction. In the introduction, you give a general statement, a general idea about the subject itself, having a job after school, and you state your opinion towards the end of the first paragraph. I'll give you an example. Look at this. Many high school students prefer to have a job after school hours since it helps them become independent and save money. Okay, this is a general statement I gave, and now I give my opinion. I believe that this is a very good idea. Okay, short, concise, and simple and to the point. Let's move on. In the second paragraph, we write about the reason and example. Okay, we try to write to justify our opinion. Do you think it's a good idea? Again, the composition or the question about the composition, do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to have a job after school hours? Okay, let's talk about the body. Here we have the body of our writing. I think that work teaches discipline, strengthens personality, and enables us to meet new people and discover new worlds. So this is more or less the reason. For example, I'm giving an example here. Having a part-time job will inevitably help students who face financial problems and make them less dependent on their parents. So we gave the introduction, and we gave the body, and in the body we gave reasons and examples to support our opinion. Now let's move to the third part. Opinion restated. We restate our opinion that we stated in the introduction. Okay, we say it again, but in a different way. Okay, and this is found in the conclusion. To conclude, you can use this. My belief is that if teenagers want to progress in their lives and become important contributing individuals in their society, they need to both study and work simultaneously. So in this conclusion, we gave more or less the same opinion that we gave in the introduction, but in different words. All right. Now in the Mikud of this year, of summer 20, Moed Aleph and Moed Bet, there are 15 possible topics for the written production or the written presentation. From these 15 questions, one of them will appear in the Bagrut, okay? You could look at them. Do you prefer learning at school, in the classroom, or learning at home? Do you think schools should require pupils to wear a school uniform? Some schools are very large and others are very small. Which school do you prefer? Everyone wants to do something to help the environment. What can you do or your school do? Most schools require that pupils go on a yearly trip. Do you think pupils must participate? And we have here in the second page, do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to have a job after school? This is the thing that we practiced on, okay? You have 15 possible topics that one of them will appear in Moed Aleph and in Moed Bet this year, in the summer of 2021. You will get a link to these topics. Probably some of the teachers gave them to you, and I gave them to you. Anyway, we'll put them on Moodle. All right. This brings our session today to an end. This is all I wanted to share with you today. Stay safe and stay healthy.